Hello students, welcome to today's session. So today we are going to discuss an interesting topic, okay, how to use BlueJ. Finally, we are going to open BlueJ and we will see the following topics, okay, so it's going to be very interesting. So please pay attention. Okay, so the first topic is starting BlueJ, okay, then we'll see how to create a BlueJ project. Then we'll be looking at how to create a source program, then how to edit the source program, how to compile it, then how to create an object, how to execute the member methods, how to save the output, and how to open an existing BlueJ project. Okay, so let's begin. First topic is how to start BlueJ. Okay, so for starting BlueJ, you can do it in 3 ways. Okay, remember 3 ways. There are 3 ways to start BlueJ. The first place where you are going to look is at the desktop. Okay, here on the desktop, you can find the BlueJ folder. Okay, if the BlueJ folder is available here, it's well and good. You can simply double click on it, or you can right click and then you can click open. It will mean the same thing to the computer and it will open BlueJ for you. Okay, okay, so our BlueJ application has opened right here. Okay, and if it's not available here on the desktop, okay, just let me do one thing here. Okay, if it's not available on the desktop, you need to go, click on start, on the start menu here. Okay, on start button. Okay, then go to all programs. Okay, and in this list of programs you need to find the BlueJ folder. So you can see this highlighted part. Okay, focus on my mouse pointer. See, I've got BlueJ folder here, and inside the BlueJ folder I've got this BlueJ application. When you click on it, it will open. Okay, so this was our second method of opening BlueJ. And even if this does not work for you, I've got the last method. Okay, go to my computer or open any folder. Okay, open any folder and you can click on C drive, go to program files, and inside this program files folder you'll find lots of other folders. Okay, but the one which you need is this one, BlueJ folder. Okay, so in BlueJ folder you can see that the application is available here. Okay, just double click on it and it will open. Okay, so this is our first topic, starting BlueJ. Okay, so that is done. That was simple, isn't it? Let's now move on to the next topic, that is creating a BlueJ project. Okay, what is this BlueJ project? So this project will contain all your files. Okay, let us see how it's actually done, then you will understand it more clearly. Okay, just give me a minute. I have closed my Chrome browser here by mistake. Okay, so we saw how to start BlueJ, and the next topic we are going to look at is creating a BlueJ project. Okay, okay, so you can see this area of your screen is disabled right now. Okay, to be able to use BlueJ you need to have at least one project opened. Okay, so since we don't have any project right now, we are going to create a new project. So you can see this menu bar here. From this menu bar you need to go to project and then new project. Okay, in this new project dialog box you need to choose the location of your project, okay, where this is the folder where all your projects will be stored. Okay, so if you click on choose, okay, now you must choose this location carefully so that you will be able to remember it in the future if you want to reopen your project, and quite often you will need it in the future. So be careful about choosing the location. So I will choose, let's say I'll go to E drive, and in E drive at the present moment you can see that there is only one folder, okay, but I'll not be using that folder. I will be creating a fresh folder. Okay, you can either right click here and then go to new folder, or you can simply click on this new folder button here. All of them will do the same thing. Okay, that is they will create a new folder. So once the new folder is created, okay, you give a name to it, and it will be easier, it will be better if you give your name. Okay, so I'm going to give my name. Okay, so this, I will open this folder here, Rishikesh. Okay, I've opened the folder, and then finally I'll click select folder. Okay, so you can see the location is mentioned here, isn't it? The location of our project. Where is our project folder? It's in E drive, and the name of the folder is Rishikesh. Okay, and let me just show you from my computer. Okay, if you go to E drive here, you can see a folder. Okay, this is the folder which we just created from BlueJ. Okay, so this is our folder, and the folder is, it's empty right now. Okay, now we'll create the project. Okay, so click on new project, and then you need to give the name of your project. Okay, so for the present moment I'm going to choose the project name as project 1. Okay, it could be any name of your choice, so I've given the name of the project as project 1. So when you click on OK, you can see that a folder has been created here. Okay, this folder was not there earlier. This folder came, it got created only when you created a new project. Okay, so if in this project 1 folder, you can see you have got 2 default files. It has been created by BlueJ. Okay, now you don't need to worry about those files. Okay, right now. Okay, let's come back to our BlueJ application, and you can see that this area is enabled now. It was previously disabled because we did not have any project opened, but now it is enabled and you are ready to create class. Okay, so our first step is done, second step is done. Now we need to do the third step, that is creating a source program. Okay, how to create a source program? Very simple, you click on new class. Okay, why do you need to create a new class? Because you know that in Java everything is an object, right? The fundamental basis of object oriented programming is object. Okay, if you don't have objects, that means your program won't run. Okay, and to create an object you need to have a class. Okay, you need to have a class. And what is a class? A class is a blueprint. It's a blueprint, isn't it? So for those of you who don't remember it, Class is a blueprint. Blueprint for what? For creating objects. Okay. So that is the reason why we need to create a class first. Okay. Okay. And now we need to give the class name here. Okay. For giving a class name, you need to follow certain rules. Okay. First rule is that you cannot start a class name with a digit. Okay, if you can see that as soon as I wrote 2 here, an error came up here, not a valid Java class name. Okay, so a class name, okay, a class name cannot start with a number. Okay, it cannot start with a number. Second rule is it cannot start with any kind of symbol like at or exclamation or hash. You cannot start with those symbols. Okay, so you can still see that the error is persisting here. So what do you need to do? You need to start with an alphabet. Okay, you can start with an alphabet. You have got 3 options. Start with an alphabet, or you can start with dollar, okay, or you can start with underscore. That's it. You see, when I am giving underscore, there is no error here. There is no error, isn't it? When I write the dollar symbol here, there is no error here. And when I write a character, obviously there will be no error. Okay, so 3 things you can use: dollar symbol, underscore symbol, and alphabet. Okay, so with these 3 things you can start a class name. Okay, a class name. Okay, and this rule applies for function name also. Now don't worry if you don't know what a function is. I'll be talking about it later. Okay, so class name, function name, and also variable name. Okay, so this rule applies to all of them. Okay, when you are creating a class name, when you are creating a function name, and when you are creating a variable name. Okay, so you need to follow these rules. So for the present moment, I'm going to choose the class name as calculator. Okay, and make sure that this Java is selected here and this class is selected here, and then click on OK. So once you have clicked on OK, we are okay to go ahead. Okay, so you can see that this yellow box has been created. Yeah, this was not there earlier. Okay, and with that yellow box, a third file has been created. Earlier we had just 2 files which were created by BlueJ, but this file right here, we have just created it by creating a class. Okay, remember it's a class. And this, it's not a class file. Don't get confused. This is not a class file, because class file represents the bytecode. I'll talk about it later. For now, this is the file which has got our class. Okay, not the class file. It has got our class. So this is actually our source program. Okay, remember what is source program? Source program is the high level code, isn't it? Source program is the high level code. Okay, it's our high level Java code, whereas class file or bytecode is the, it's actually not the, it's neither high level nor machine level. It's somewhere in between, as I explained it to you in the previous video. Okay, so if you look at the property of this file here, you can see that the type of file It's a Java file, and it's a dot Java file. Okay, maybe this is too small, it's not visible to you, so I'm writing it here. Okay, it's dot Java file. This dot Java file is our source program. Okay, our source program. Okay, and if we go to the slide which we saw earlier in the previous video, you can see Java code, my code dot Java, isn't it? Dot Java. This is our source program. This is the first step. You need to create the source program. Then you need to give the source program to the compiler, and the compiler will be producing a class file. Okay, so we will be looking at these steps. Okay, so at the present moment you can see that we have got stripes here, isn't it? That shows that the class, that our source program is not yet compiled. Okay, so if I right click on it and click on compile, this stripes, the stripes will get removed. Okay, but before I do anything, I'll open this source program. Okay, and when I open it, you can see that BlueJ has written some default code for us. Okay, but we will say thank you very much to BlueJ. We don't need your code right now, and so we are going to remove everything except these two lines here. Okay, even if you remove these two lines, it does not matter, but you have to write it by yourself. So instead of removing it, it's better that you just leave it here. Okay, so you can see this class keyword. Okay, this is a keyword in Java. Okay, it's a reserved word. It denotes that this name which is coming after this keyword, it's our class. Okay, it's our class, and from this class we will be creating objects. Okay, so calculator is our class, and in the future when our program is ready, we will be creating objects belonging to which type? To calculator type. Okay, we'll be creating objects which belong to calculator type. Okay, so I hope up till here it's clear. So where are we here? We have started BlueJ, we have created the project, and we have created the source program. You know that yellow box, the source program, the source file, the .java file we have created. Okay, and now we are looking at editing the source program. Okay, we need to edit it. We need to write our own code. Okay, so in Java everything is an object. Okay, and object can be created only when you have got a blueprint, isn't it? And that blueprint is this class calculator here. Okay, so now let's just revise what is an object. Object has got identity, state, and behavior, isn't it? So identity, state, and behavior. So identity, we'll look at this later. Okay, and we'll not discuss state also right now, but what we are going to look at is behavior. Okay, we need to define at least one behavior. We need to define at least one behavior, and behaviors are defined by member methods. Okay, behaviors are defined through member methods, and that is exactly what we are going to create right now, a member method. So in a Java, in the simplest of Java program, you need to at least have a single class file, and inside the class, sorry, it's not class file, you need to have at least a single class, and inside the single class you need to have at least one member method. Okay, and for creating the member method, just click next to this opening curly brackets here and press on enter. Okay, before I explain further, what is this opening bracket and this closing bracket? This opening bracket shows the starting point of this class, calculator class, and this shows the end point of the calculator class. So whatever comes here, whatever comes between these two brackets, okay, that is our calculator class. Okay, so for the moment we need to have one method here, one member method. So what did I tell you? Click next to the bracket and press enter, and automatically the cursor will move few spaces to the right, isn't it? Again, I'll repeat. Click next to the opening bracket and press enter. The cursor will automatically move few spaces to the right, and that is where you will start writing your next code, your next line of code. Okay, and here I'm going to write void display. Okay, what is this display? This display is just a function. Okay, and the function name can be anything. Okay, it can be display, it can be joker, anything. Okay, so I don't know what this joker means, but let's keep it as display. Display looks good, isn't it? So void display. Okay, so when you've written void display, after the display, after the function name, you have to have this open bracket and close bracket. Okay, now what this means, I'll not explain it right now. Okay, for the moment you don't need to understand what is the meaning of this. Okay, but you press enter. Okay, press enter and you open the bracket again, and then press enter again and close the bracket again. Okay, now you can see that this opening bracket shows, so the bracket on line number 5, this is line number 5, isn't it? Bracket, the opening curly bracket on line number 5 shows the starting point of our function display. Okay, and this bracket here shows the end point of our function display. Okay, and this display function and methods are same thing. Okay, so when I say function and methods, you should understand that they are the same thing. Okay, so this display function is part of the calculator class. Okay, okay, now again I did the same thing. You see, click next to the opening curly brackets and press enter, and automatically the cursor will move few spaces to the right. Okay, now why do we need to do this? I will explain it later. Okay, but for now I'm just going to write a very simple line of code here. Okay, system.out.println, let's say 1 2 3. Okay, okay, so our class is ready now. Our source program is ready. So if we go to this diagram here, our source program is ready. Now we need to pass it to the compiler, and that will be done by using this compile button here. So as soon as you press on the compile button, you should understand what will happen, what's going on in the background. Okay, when you click on this compile button, this source program will be passed to this compiler. Okay, and the compiler will convert this high level language into a byte code. Okay, and one more thing, in our project folder we can see we have got 3 files right now, but as soon as I click on compile, okay, as soon as I click on compile, notice the changes here. So compile, so when you clicked on compile, the first thing that happened was this message here, class compiled, no syntax error. Okay, only when you have no syntax error the bytecode is generated. Okay, and that bytecode is stored where? It's stored in this class file. This was not there earlier, it came up just now when we clicked on compile. Okay, so this class file has got our bytecode. Okay, so this class file is our bytecode, and if we check the properties of this file, you can see its type is class file and its extension is what? It is dot class. Okay, so our source program's extension is dot Java and our bytecode extension is dot class. Okay, so please remember this, it's an important point. Okay, okay, now the compiler has taken our source program and it has produced our bytecode as well. Okay, now we need to pass it to the JVM. Okay, so let's do it. How can we pass our bytecode to the JVM? Okay, so JVM will execute our program, isn't it? But you know that for executing our program, the JVM must have objects, isn't it? The object is the fundamental unit. Okay, without objects you cannot execute anything. So JVM requires object to execute the member methods. Okay, so what member methods have we got here? We have just got one member method display here. Okay, so before the JVM is able to call this function and execute the code present inside that function, you have to create an object first. Okay, when you create an object, through that object you will be calling this display function. Okay, remember this, through that object, through the object only you are able to call any member function. Okay, so how to create objects? So we are done with this, this. We are looking at creating an object. So you right click on this yellow file, and this yellow file represents what? It represents our source program. Okay, right click on it and you can see this new calculator here. Okay, it's showing new calculator right now, but if say let us assume that the class name was Joker. Okay, so instead of new calculator, the text here would have been new Joker. Okay, not new calculator. But since we chose our class name as calculator, we have got new calculator here. By clicking on this new calculator, what you'll be doing is you'll be creating an object of calculator type. Okay, so let's see what happens. When I click on new calculator, a dialog box has appeared, and this dialog box is asking us to give a name for our instance. Okay, remember, it's asking for the identity. By which name do you want to create this object? Every object has got an identity, right? So the identity of this object will be represented by this name of instance. Okay, instance simply means object. Okay, so it's asking the object name. So the object name can be given anything. Okay, you can either leave this default name if you are lazy. Okay, or you can give some meaningful name. Okay, like let's say Calci1. Okay, Calci1. Okay, so this is our first object. When I click on OK, our object is created, and the object is represented in this red box. Okay, so now when I right click on it, you can see that 4 lines are here, but we are not concerned about those 4 lines. We are concerned with just one line, and that is void display. Okay, void display is the member method, remember, which we just created in our class. Void display, isn't it? If I add one more function here, let's say void show, and recompile it and recreate the object, you can see that now you have got 5 lines. 1 2 3 4 5 lines. And but we are not concerned with all the 5 lines. We are just concerned with this void display and void show. Okay, so let's click on void display and see what happens. And before that, let's click on void show and see what happens. So I have clicked on void show and nothing happened. Okay, nothing happened. Why? Because inside this show function I don't have any code. Okay, the function is blank. That is why when I called the show function, nothing happened, right? But if I right click on it and call the display function, look what happened. You have got a message on your screen which says 1 2 3. From where did this message came? This message came from this line here. Okay, so as soon as you clicked on this display function, the control came to the function here. Okay, and all the lines present inside these 2 brackets, okay, all the lines present inside these 2 brackets will get executed. In this example, I've just written only 1 line of code. That's why only 1 line got executed. Okay, but if I just add one more line here, okay, let's say 4 5 6. So what will happen this time? Compile, create the object, right click, and then call the member function display. So this time you can see that 1 2 3 and 4 5 6. Okay, this was expected, isn't it? Because this time when the control comes to the display function, first line will get executed, then the second line will get executed. Okay, so all the lines will be executed. All the lines inside this function will be executed one by one. Okay, that is the meaning of function call. Okay, so when you click on display, the control comes here. When you click on void display on the object, control comes here, and the lines present inside those inside that function are executed. Okay, so now can you just create only one object? No, that would be same as saying, like, if you have got a blueprint of a house, okay, or of a building, you can just create only one building from that blueprint. Is it does it make sense? No. If you have got a blueprint for a building, you can create as many buildings as you require, okay, from that blueprint. Similarly, once your blueprint is ready, you can create as many objects as you want. Okay, so right click on your source program, click on new calculator, and this will be our second object, and I will name it as calc2. You can leave the default name. I'll create one more object, and I will name it as calc3. Okay, you can keep on creating hundreds of objects. Okay, but we will not be creating 100 objects here. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so this is our first object, this is our calc2 object, this is our calc3 object, and notice that this text here, okay, this is showing the type of calc2, type of calc3, type of calculate 1. Okay, so all these calc2, calc3, they are objects, and their type is what? Calculator. So you must understand each and everything what's happening on the screen. Okay, then only you will be able to understand programming. Okay, so you must understand what's happening. Okay, now if I right click on this object, calc3 object, see all the objects will be showing this, the display and show function, all of them are showing, isn't it? So each of the object has its own copy of the function. Okay, since I've got two functions inside my class, inside my calculator class, so whenever I create an object, that object will have its own copy of both the functions present inside this calculator class. Is it clear? And when I call the display function, what will happen? See, this 1 2 3 4 5 6 is coming from which object? It's coming from calc3 object. Okay, and when I right click on this and click on display function again, this message is coming from object 2, calc2. Okay, so this point should also be very clear in your mind. Okay, that each object will have its own copy of the functions, right? So this is how you create an object. Okay, and this is we have already seen how to execute the member methods. Okay, we'll see the next topic, saving the output. So let's say I have got this output here and you want to save it for future reference. Okay, So you can click on options here and go to save to file, okay, or press Ctrl S. Same thing will happen. Then you choose a location. Okay, I'll be using the same project one location, and I will just give any name here. So I'll just write output 1, okay, and I'll click on save. So as soon as I click on save, if you go to our project 1 folder, you can see that a file has been created here, output 1. So this is our file which is storing the output, and you can later on open this file to see what the output was. Okay, and finally the last topic is opening an existing BlueJ project. Okay, so for opening an existing BlueJ project, we need to close everything first. So let's close everything. Okay, and open BlueJ again. Okay, so we don't have any project on the screen right now, and you want to open your already created project. So what you need to do is go to project and open project, or you can simply press Ctrl O. Okay, now you need to remember the location. Okay, so where did we create our project folder? It was in E drive, isn't it? So I'll go to E drive. And I remember that inside E drive I created a folder by my name. So I'll open that folder, and inside my folder, the project which I want to open is project 1. So I'll select folder, and you can see that our project has opened, our existing project has opened. So this is how you will be creating, how you'll be opening an existing project. Okay, and just to make things clear, okay, I will just add one more line of code here. Okay, system dot out dot print ln, I print hello I am Java. Okay, so click on compile, no syntax errors. Go to your yellow box, right click on it, create the object, click OK. Your object has been created here. Right click on the object and call the particular function which you want to call. Let's say I have just edited the show function, isn't it? So I'll click on this show function, and you can see that the message that has come up here is hello, I am Java. Okay, and let's say while the object is here in existence, you change the code. Okay, I am Java, how are you? Okay, so I have edited my source program. Okay, I have edited my source program, and if I click on compile, you can see the object is gone. Okay, because there has been some changes to the behavior of the object. Okay, there has been some changes to the behavior of the object. So now you need to recreate the object. Okay, so create the object, and this time if you call the show function, you can see the message is hello, I am Java, how are you? Okay, okay, now why do we need to have these spaces here? And these spaces, does it matter that we need to give these spaces? Is it compulsory? No, not at all. Okay, just look at this. So you can see I've got the same code, okay. I've just put a few extra spaces and I've moved the words here and there, and it's everywhere on the screen, okay. And if I compile this, can you see class compiled, no syntax error? That means what? Our file is perfectly okay. Our source program is perfectly okay, and I can still execute this code, okay. So if I create the object, and call the functions, call the member functions, what will happen? The output will come. So why did I tell you to follow a certain rule that after you create, after you open a curly bracket, then you press enter and the cursor will automatically shift a few spaces to the right, okay. And your code should align in a certain manner so that the code looks neat and tidy, okay. That is the only reason. Your code should look neat and tidy so that in the future, it will be not in the future, at present also, okay. When you've written a code, let's say you've written thousands and thousands, let's say 5,000 lines of code, you have written 5,000 lines of code, and if you have written your code in this clumsy manner, okay, everything is here and there is no system, so it will be difficult for you to understand your own code, okay. But if you keep your code neat and tidy, okay, it will be very easy for you to understand the code, to go through the code, okay. And if any error occurs in the code, you will be able to, it will be easier for you to identify a certain area in the code, isn't it? So keeping things neat and tidy in your life, in your day-to-day life, as well as in coding, makes life easier, okay. So that is why, if we, instead of writing it like this, okay, if I write it like this, see now which one looks beautiful, this one or previous one? I hope most of you will agree that this one is better looking, isn't it? So you can see that the class starts here, ends here, very easy to identify. And you, if you write it anywhere you like, it will not be so easy to identify, isn't it? Similarly, you have opened the function, the display function here, okay, and you have closed it here. It's very easy, just by having a glance, a quick glance, you can identify where is the start point, where is the end point, isn't it? Same goes with this function. As soon as you see this opening bracket here, you will notice that the closing bracket will be somewhere below this line only, okay. So you can easily identify where the show function is ending, okay. And one more thing is that you can see that all the functions are starting from this vertical line, isn't it? All the function like void display and void show, they are starting from the same vertical line here. And all the code which are inside the function, they are starting from this line here, okay. So So giving spaces, any number of spaces will not make a difference to your bytecode, okay? But if you keep the code neat and tidy, life will be easier for you, okay? It will be easier for you to understand the code. And it will be easier for someone else also who is looking at your code, okay? Not only for you, for other people also, they will find it easier to understand you, to go through your code and identify if there is any error, if there is any improvement that needs to be done. Okay, so many advantages are there. So I will request you to follow this system of coding, okay, of writing code. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and we'll stop our discussion